welcome to Roll for Crit. I'm Will Keeler.
I'm Jonathan Estes. Hope you got a good Halloween this weekend. We sure did.
Oh, yes, we did.
We're going to talk about some games that we played later on. Maybe you watched some scary movies, though.
Ooh, spooky.
We've got some movies to talk about because basically we're just slowly transitioning into a film show as
yes, of course.
The board game medium adapts itself into that realm.
You mean as movie makers decide, okay, what else can we steal from?
Right. There's only so many things left. And the first one, we already knew, in fact, that a remake of Jumanji was scheduled for a year from now, about, I think, Christmas time, 2016.
It'll still have Robin Williams in it, right?
Robin Williams will appear digitally recreated. They have the rights to him. They will clone him, whatever it takes. In fact, that may not be true. We'll continue. We know now that this movie is going to have the same writer. We know who the writer is. Mm-hmm. Previously worked on movies such as Con Air, Gone in 60 Seconds, and my personal favorite, Kangaroo Jack.
So he's really got the top tier.
He's got a track record. Mm-hmm. The other thing that they talked about is that maybe this. Did you ever read the book Jumanji?
No, I did not.
It's a picture book. Maybe
I think I did actually know.
You might have just
I did a while ago. I know I read the thorough one. That one I actually have read.
Oh, yeah. Same author, I think?
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a kid's picture book. So they think maybe this one will be kind of closer to that book, because most of the stuff where the Robin Williams part of that movie, they just made up. Mm-hmm. So maybe this will be more like a simpler kind of tale in that vein. Maybe, I don't know.
Or maybe they'll just have another comedian they think is on the rise.
Who do you want to see replace Robin Williams?
Louis C.K. He's like, why am I here?
I think.
Why am I here, guys?
Probably Jim Belushi.
Oh.
That'll be my number one choice.
All right.
So that's coming out. We also have this. Have you heard about this book, Monopolist? We may have talked about it in our show.
Yeah, I think we've mentioned it.
I wanted to read it. I thought it'd be fun to read it. We didn't read it.
Nope.
But it's all about the story of the true story of Monopoly and how it was made, and how it was actually this anti-capitalist thing, mm-hmm. and a woman created it and didn't get credit for it and all this stuff. Well, they're making a movie based on that book. So it's not a documentary, I don't think. I'm pretty sure it's a fictionalized, dramatized version of that story. But supposedly Hasbro has nothing to do with it and doesn't want anything to do with it. They aren't maybe thrilled about that. The seedy history.
I mean, if you think about it, it has a very sort of dark past,
a checkered past.
I mean, because I'm pretty sure
a monopolied past.
When we did talk about this. I remember when we talked about it because I saw the video from the PBS game show when they talk, and they use this book a lot for the information. Mm-hmm. And some of the areas, for example, the cheaper areas are the areas that are more well known for where the non-white people would hang out and stuff.
Right.
And it used to be the number of buildings, hotels never existed. So you would actually get monopoly on building the houses and stuff to try to sort of show how you could be sort of screwed more.
Right. It was really almost like a satirical kind of thing. They just want people to think family fun.
Yeah. Not dark history.
But I think it's an interesting, for sure, story. I'd like to see I'd love to see documentaries made about the history of more board games, or more board games in general. There are a few board game documentaries that I haven't watched that I think you can find online.
And there are probably some good ones, but also in my head I just imagine this documentary. Yeah, I came up with an idea and I made it.
Well, really the old ones,
yeah.
Or even something like Magic the Gathering, following the rise of that, or Dungeons and Dragons. There's got to be one.
Anything that has a history.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Because usually, that means also there's weird things we can find out. Well, it turns out that we had I know Magic the Gathering, for example. I know for some sets they avoided using demons. Because Christianity thought it was dark and too evil, they didn't want to.
So what did they have? Just dragons?
I guess that's I forget the exact. This is a while ago now. But they have these weird sort of history. You're like, really?
Yeah, no, it's interesting. The rise of gaming culture. So that's movies. That's board games moving into the cinematic realm. The other thing I wanted to talk about, sort of coming
is
off
the opposite.
Yeah, a little bit. So We did talk about on this show the new expansion for Abyss titled Kraken, which was seen at Essen this year. And I'm not sure, it should be coming out like soon, retail worldwide or whatever. And they put out this new trailer for it, which is like the most cinematic, epic trailer for a board game I've ever seen.
Yeah, so instead of our earlier talk of board games becoming movies, it's now a movie trailer, a board game. It's the other way around.
It's
yes.
one of those things.
Yeah, the tide goes both ways. I'm trying to find a way to fit that in.
The tide goes both ways. Water.
Yeah.
Abyss.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we've already talked about the expansion. I just think it's really cool. It's a weird thing, but that we've seen more of a trend where it does catch your attention.
Yeah. Wasn't there another thing I felt like that did like another game that did.
I know there are some digital games have done it.
Actually, Magic the Gathering has been doing that more. Like, I just saw earlier today, I was on my phone, I just see, like, coming April 2016, I'm like, what's this? And I saw, like, it shows, like, a feather flying at night through the moon. It lands on a house and turns red into blood. And then, like, this holy symbol starts cracking and breaking, like, shadows over Abyssian.
Yeah.
Coming April 2016.
I'm in. Let's do it. We should get you to narrate.
No, I'd rather have your narrate when you do the narrate for all the sound effects for the trailer for me.
We'll edit that in later. All my sounds in the background. But yeah, I'm a fan. I think we need more ridiculous trailers.
Can you think of a board game you'd love to see a trailer for?
Yeah, like probably the new Monopoly version. I don't know.
It'd just be like you just see the Monopoly guy throwing money in the air.
You see it a lot for digital ones now too. It's got to, you're going to see them from the companies that actually have money and resources. Although a lot of times now with Kickstarter, I think we've talked about this, it's almost the same thing.
Netrunner.
Sure, why not?
I think that. Didn't we already talk about that last episode?
This is just like saying what games should be movies. Basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's the same conversation, just in a dumber way.
We want a trailer because.
So yeah, if you're looking out for that, check out the details. Abyss Kraken should be coming out shortly. Other things that have come out shortly. We just got a new release this week.
What?
A new release that you can get right now without even leaving your chair.
Oh man, what is it?
It's an app.
Yeah!
The companion app for Dead of Winter was released appropriately enough on Halloween.
Yeah, and you actually bought it.
I jumped on it.
Of course.
It was 99 cents. We talked about it.
So what does this app actually do?
As a reminder, it's basically, it replaces the deck of Crossroads cards in your game of Dead of Winter. So the cards where you read, and whoever's turn it is, if they fulfill a certain condition, you have to tell them and something happens. What's great about this app is it's much more thematic in that it only shows you the text that you need until they actually do it.
Right, and if they have to make a choice, they don't know the outcome. So it can't be like, you can either kick this guy out and nothing happens, or keep him in and maybe something bad. You won't be like, oh, let's risk it, or no,
Exactly.
You have to actually be like,
you have to think thematically about what you want to do. It also has
narration.
It's pretty bare bones, but yeah, it has narration. So a voice actor reads all of it, which is great.
And did you say like some of them they add new ones in? Like one was like, read this if someone yawns at the table.
Unless it just hadn't come up for us, but it seemed like there was. I just skimmed through a few. We haven't actually played with it yet, but I'm super excited. Next week, I definitely want to try doing it with the app because it made me like 10 times happier to want to play the game. It also has some sound like a whooshy cold sound effect
that you start or does it do it randomly?
Oh, you can turn it on and off. It's just constant.
Oh, because it'd be hilarious if you had it on, so people would be like taking their turns. You just press button like, oh shit, what was that? And you're just like, did the thing happen? No, I'm just making noise.
It's just wind. It's not scary. It's just wind. It's pretty. Like I said, it's bare bones, but it's effective, and I think. But
for 99 cents, I think it's a great app for that game.
And hopefully, I'm not sure in the future because it's called Dead of Winter Crossroads app. I'm not sure if once another Crossroads game comes out, if they'll be able to add those cards into it, or maybe as a download, or if it's going to be a whole separate. It'll be interesting to see how. I'm not sure what they'll do there, but anyway, if you have Dead of Winter for $1, if you want to play it, I think it's for sure something you want to get. And final thing that's just kind of fun to talk about. Vin Diesel's got that new Witch Hunter movie.
Yeah, based on his
D&D character, and to celebrate / unabashedly promote that movie, he went on Geek and Sundry and did this D&D session. I actually watched it. I don't think it's kind of fun. It's kind of weird because
It's a one-time.
Well, it's a one-time campaign. Actually, the Dungeon Master is really good. I don't know any of the names. Well, a couple of them are familiar, but I didn't know who he was. But it's like if you watch Geek and Sundry, there's probably some people you recognize. But you could tell the table was set up where Vin Diesel is like right in the center, and like for the first like 5 minutes of the game, everyone's kind of like, what's Vin Diesel gonna do? Do you want to hit someone with your sword or something? And you can tell he's kind of like feel a little awkward because it's like, can we just play? He just wants to play a game of D&D. But they kind of get into a groove. But it's fun to watch. It's pretty cool. I love Vin Diesel. I love that he's a D&D player. I think it's pretty awesome.
Then someday we'll actually get our game up running again.
Yeah, maybe we should. I'm gonna role play as Vin Diesel in a campaign.
So in the campaign, are you Vin Diesel or are you playing as Vin Diesel playing his character?
Oh, that's good. That's layers. So halfway through the game and be like, I have to go film a movie. I got the shake my head. Hold on. I am Groot. Send that to my agent. I just made $1 million. All right. So that's check that out if you have half an hour to kill, which you probably do if you're watching this garbage. So that's pretty good. That's all our big news. Let's get to one viewer comment.
Oh, viewer comment.
/ correction.
Oh boy.
Last week, if you'll recall, we talked about the Netrunner's expanding its universe and things like that, and we were talking about whether or not Netrunner was based on a board game.
And I said
You said you were pretty sure it was, and I was like, I don't think so. Well, here's the scoop. So, and I kind of looked into it, and I'm just trying to find the name of the guy. Nidaloth pointed out. In fact, it's a little complicated. It's somewhat complicated. So this might be old news to people, but we don't do our research. So there's an original board game called Android. That was Fantasy Flight. That was set in a sci-fi universe that was it wasn't like Netrunner though. Then there was a separate game that was a CCG designed by Richard Garfield, that was called Netrunner. And so the game Android Netrunner they took the game Netrunner and set it in the universe of Android. So it's kind of based on two games.
So it's like the weird
together.
Child.
Yeah. So
we're both right and wrong.
Sort of, yes. Exactly. Right. So I thought that was interesting. So it was Android Netrunner. Complicated, weird history. So that was our fan corrections. But otherwise, we did mention that it was Halloween, and we played a bunch of games. There are two in particular that I thought were worth talking about.
All right.
That we haven't already beaten to death or something like that. So the first one is this game, Funemployed.
Yeah, I've been dying to actually have a chance to play this.
Tell them what it's about.
Pretty much, it's sort of like Apple style. Like one person's the judge. In this case, they'll have a card and they'll flip it over. It'll say "Help Wanted" and a job, and then you'll have every other player has 4 adjectives. For lack of, or
could be nouns.
Items.
They're like qualifications. What they're called.
In your hand, and you have about a minute to sort of switch what's in your hand with like a general sharing pool in the center, and first come first served, and maybe even wait to see if someone else puts something down that works with you. Then you have to sort of apply for the job, which comes out to be very funny. You're playing some of them.
It's it's like you said, apples to apples. It's sort of like. I'm trying to think of another game, but the only example I can think of is Metagame, that game we've played, or that Who Would Win. It's like a debate game almost.
Yeah.
You're applying for the position using an argument, using the cards that you have in hand.
Right.
So it's all about how you can persuade whoever the employer is.
Right, and usually people do some very strange things.
Well, because the cards are, the cards you get are not always really good for the job.
Right.
So you have to improvise and make the best of what you have. So there's some. It's really funny. I mean, we were.
Oh, what was your favorite?
I'm trying to think of some good ones. Like Mime was pretty good. I forget what the card was when Neil compared mimes to ninjas. and
He
somehow
said
made
they
that
were.
work.
He said, as everyone knows, mimes are nice ninjas or something like that.
For me,
The Christian book author.
yeah, you did accents. you did characters. Yours was very dramatic. I think the best one that I did was the astronaut, where I said I was a cannibal, so I could eat the other
Crew say they only have to pay you.
Less food required. It's a win-win for everybody except for the other crew members.
There's also the all the supervillains I had, and we had like.
We all had their names.
I don't want to talk about this, but I have coat hangers.
Yeah.
And then you were like, here, listen. I am Apocalypse. That's my thing.
I had the card Apocalypse. I was in the bag. I didn't win it though. But
no, someone had box wine.
Anyway, so this was a Kickstarter. You can get it on Amazon right now. I know at least. I don't know if it's widely available in most other places, but super fun for me. Oh, my voice went a little. For me, this bests Cards Against Humanity for me. I think for me why I enjoy it more is because no matter how many times you see those cards, you still have the element of what someone's going to say with it.
It's not just here's a card. The debate makes it, and the fact that you have to debate with 4 cards means the combinations of things are much usually. It's not as
more
obvious.
Variety.
And like apples and Cards Against Humanity, every group has usually what I would call the aces.
Right. There's the one card like, oh, I know this makes that guy laugh every time, so I'm going to win.
Right, and while that probably would work here for some of them.
For some, but it's
it's not nearly as clear, I feel.
And there's just more.
Especially as soon as My Job comes up, which is actually the ending card, which you actually apply for whoever has their actual job.
So anyway, look into that. The other one we played, which also we were maybe even more excited to try out finally, is Two Rooms and a Boom.
Because we're never going to get enough people to play that again.
Yes. So we had enough this time. So Two Rooms and a Boom is sort of a social deduction game in which 2 teams actually split up into 2 different rooms. And in basic terms, one side has a president character. Everyone's roles are secret. And one side is the bomber, and the bomber is trying to end up in the same room as the president, and the president's trying to avoid the bomber, and you're trying to help each other out. And there's a lot more crazy roles and variations you can play with that we did not. And the game plays up to like 30 people. I think at conventions they do even more than that sometimes. Like you can do crazy numbers. We had 10 people. I wanted 11, but I think at the 11 is the point where like you can kind of start to play with the really fun stuff. We did more of a vanilla set, but I still enjoyed it a lot. I'm glad we got to play it. I'm glad I at least got my feet wet in it.
No, it's the way I felt like playing this is pretty much like we played the tutorial. Yeah, is how I really felt. I don't think we've learned how to play the game, and I can see it being fun. But I don't feel I got the real experience.
But did you not have fun?
No, like I enjoyed it, but the thing is, it's more like, you know how sometimes we've played games and it's not like I want to use the expansions, but it's like I had fun playing just this. With this, for sure. I was like, I really want, I want to hit those next things.
Especially because we're also we're used to playing the Resistance with like 6 different types and things. We were used to the more complicated.
I think the big issue for me was in the first game we did the most vanilla. So the only roles were president and bomber in terms of unique roles.
And also the game lasts like 10 minutes or less. So.
And that was a nice thing. But what happened is it pretty much came down to a coin flip at the end. We all knew everyone. So we're like, okay, are they going to send the bomber? Or are we going to, should we keep the president here?
Right.
And then the second game, which could have been more advanced, mostly because the spies were found out in each room right off the bat.
Yeah, I think I blame that on players.
No. That's why I think the second game, the player because of that, I think, and we played with 5 rounds with only 10 people. It's very easy to find everyone.
Yeah, which we aren't supposed to do. So we knew going into it wasn't going to be an ideal experience, but we really wanted to try those extra roles.
And so I can see how this could be a really fun game. I just want to do it with more people, make it so I can't so we can't be like, all right, 9 out of 10, he's either these 2 people or the.
I also think it reminds me also in the way of, I remember in Cosmic Encounter where one of the big mistake that everybody usually makes the first 2 times they play is allying with everybody all the time, and then at the end of the game you're like, well, that guy is just one. And what you learn by playing is that you shouldn't do that. I think this is one of those types of situations where the more people played it, the more of that meta game they'd get into, and the less people would be willing to be like, and especially different roles you have, the less reason you have to just tell everybody what you are, and the more savvy you get about when should I or who shouldn't I show this to.
It was actually really great. I remember the very first game we played is because I was in the room, and in our room, no one was really telling. One person showed the card, but everyone else was like, no, we're not showing anything. And then I was the hostage who had to make trade to the second room. So after the switch, I went to that room, and they're all like, okay, we're all blue. And I was the other blue. I'm like, wait, really? They're like, yeah. I'm like, well.
No, I walked into the room. They pretty much all just showed their cards, and then I just gradually realized I'm the only red guy
we were the ones
here.
traded. It was great.
I was just like, well.
That's why it was pretty much, as soon as we all realized we got into a full red room and a full blue room, it was like, okay, here's the fun. Who do we trade?
Right, yeah. So, I'm like, I want to get a group, like, specifically announce an event just to play this game because I so badly want to
know
play
enough
the
people?
real version. We just got to go out there and make some friends. We do. Actually, we would have had enough, but like 3 people canceled
Yeah,
to
a bunch
come
of people
last night.
canceled.
So
Yep.
we almost made it.
So close.
One more person. Anyway, 2 rooms and a boom. If you ever go to a convention, that's a good way because they're often there, like Gen Con or I think PAX. They do.
Yeah, definitely try it out. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
At least I think it will be especially a lot more fun because the ones we mentioned are all red and blue, but there's actually a whole gray set of neutral ones which have really weird abilities. Like you want to now make the first person who shows you a card their team lose, or like
There's so much fun.
there's a drunk who doesn't know what color he is until the last round.
It's just so much fun, even just to like actually going to different rooms and feeling like, oh, what are the secrets? Like trying to figure things out. So that's what we've been playing. That I think is going to wrap us up for this week of our first November episode.
Yeah.
It's almost, we're getting into that holiday season, so the big hitters are I feel like they're mostly out, but there's probably some more in the works.
Well, I'm assuming as we approach a certain date in December, we're probably going to see some more
Ramadan.
Star Wars
That's true.
creeping into.
Yeah, maybe. We got Ghostbusters.
And maybe
up.
some more Star Wars creeping onto our show.
Oh, man. Good tease.
Yeah.
So, otherwise, until next time, please let us know what you want to see, what games you're looking forward to, or if you have any questions at all, you can comment on this video or send us an email, rollforcrit@gmail.com.
And we wouldn't be Roll for Crit if we didn't also have a Twitter, and that's at Roll for Crit, and of course our personal Twitters.
Yeah.
No, we actually wouldn't. It's literally impossible to be Roll for Crit.
And finally, you can visit our website, rollforcrit.com. Very important. We have many more videos and podcasts like this one. Plus, we sell games. We sell them to you. If you need a place to buy games,
prices.
we'll sell them to you. For real. It's not a joke. We'll sell them right to you. No.
He'll drive them out to you.
I will hand deliver them.
That is a joke.
From
Though.
my
He won't do that.
mouth to your brain. So that is Roll for Crit. And my name is Jonathan Estes.
I'm Will Keeler, and this has been Roll for Crit.
Mm-hmm.